Boom, we on. What is up, guys and girls? Hope you're having an amazing day. Had a great run this morning. I got up early, got my water in, got my run in, got my coffee in, got my smoothie in. But I wanted to talk about dealing with loss, right? And for me, this is, well, it used to be a really hard time of the year. A couple years ago, a really good friend of mine, Angel, was murdered in Brooklyn, where I was living and where he's from. And this guy was was one of the most special people I'd ever met, right? And always would preach positivity to me and, you know, tell me not to use drugs. And meanwhile, you know, this dude is like from an impoverished family, you know what I mean? He's like, you know, most people would think he's like a scary guy, you know, sold drugs, this and that. But just one of the most kind-hearted, most beautiful people I'd ever met. And all he'd ever tell me is like, yo, Harrison, like, you can't be doing that. You can't be, you know, taking those pills and yada yada. Like, I had never like had people tell me that, you know what I mean? And this was a guy whose mom like smoked crack, and, you know, at the same time, he just wanted me to be like the best I could be, right? And unfortunately, I wasn't able to hear it at the time. And he would always just, you know, the most positive person in the world, you know, the most positive person in my world at the time, always supported me. And, you know, and then like we got to a point in our relationship to where, you know, he just didn't want to have anything to do with me because he didn't want to see me on drugs, right? And at that time, like, I didn't get it. I didn't think like me, you know, taking pain pills and, you know, doing heroin and Xanax and stuff, I'm like, it's not affecting you, you know what I mean? And like my ego and my ignorance was like, well, I'm gonna keep doing this, and if you don't like it, then, you know, fuck you. I don't need you around me, and yada yada yada. And so what happened was, we had been talking for a few months, and he ends up, you know, I get a phone call one day from another one of my friends there, and he's like, hey, Angel just got murdered, right? So I fly over to Bushwick, you know, and I just like, you know, go hang out on the block where he had lived. And, you know, he got shot in the hallway of his building, and then he had a heart attack on the way, you know, to the hospital, and died, right? And that was the second time he had been shot. Like 10-15 years earlier, he got shot in the leg. Someone was trying to rob him for his chain, you know what I mean? And I remember asking him, like, you know, what was it like, you know, the first time you were shot, you know, obviously before he got shot again and killed. And he explained it to me and all the feelings he went through. And, you know, after Angel was murdered, it was really hard for me, you know. I use it as an excuse to use even more, to get high, and it was a really dark time in my life, you know, because this was one of those people who did not deserve to die, you know what I mean, did not deserve to die that way. And I would think often about like, how is his mom gonna carry on living? You know, she was addicted to crack, and he would take care of her. And, you know, for a couple months after he passed, I would bring her food and this and that. And then I ended up moving, and I wasn't able to provide those things anymore. And, you know, I wasn't living in Brooklyn anymore, so I couldn't do those things for her like I had been doing in the past. But dealing with this loss, and something I wanted to speak on, was not becoming the loss yourself, right? So when something happens now in my life, or when I lose someone I love, and, you know, I've had other losses since then, and other friends die, and other friends, you know, go to prison and stuff like that, that I had known from where I was living. And You know, it's how you react to that, right? So it's not necessarily about the loss, it's about what happens after the loss, right? And that's the only positive way I can carry on Angel's legacy, or I can live a life that I know he'd be proud of. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. So if you're experiencing a loss, you know, if you're going through a loss, take the time to mourn, take the time to experience the loss, but don't become the loss yourself. That's something I did, and it only brought devastation to my life, and it only brought more loss. Loss of relationships, you know, loss of career, and that's because I used it as an excuse to allow a continuation of my behavior and like certain behavior patterns that I knew, you know, he wouldn't even be proud of, and I just did them because it was all I knew how to do and all I knew how to handle at that time, right? And now when something bad happens, or I deal with a death of someone I care about, or, you know, and this is gonna happen to all of us in life, you're gonna experience some type of loss, but it's how do you handle it? How do I have the appropriate mourning time? How do I, you know, move forward in my part of this life, experiencing the loss, but also living in the faith of that, you know, being able to protect my life and protect my sanity by not becoming, you know, whatever it is I'm going through. And in my past, I would always become whatever emotion I was experiencing, right? So if I was sad, I'd be sad for like 3 weeks. And I would just like lay in this ditch of shit and misery and keep making it worse for myself, and listen to sad songs and and watch sad movies, and, you know, do other depressing things because I was feeding these emotions I was experiencing, right? So try not to feed your emotions. Experience the emotion, move from it. You know, if you lose someone you love, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, or the best thing I've done for myself, is I try to turn it into a positive experience. I try to give that person respect by living in a way they had always wanted me to. You know, I hope this is helpful. I hope this can help anyone if they're going through something like that. Remember, you never have to become what you're going through. It's a choice you have. You can experience the emotion. You don't have to become it. There's nothing wrong with being sad. There's nothing wrong with crying. Experience those things. Let yourself cry. Let your soul cry. Get this stuff out of you. Move forward. Process it in a healthy way. And it's not going to hold you back. It's not going to hold you down. I've been dealing with this loss for a couple of years now, and I've definitely been able to have a healthy relationship with it now, but it took a lot of work, you know what I mean? Especially when someone's murdered you love and care about and really cared about you, and you just weren't able to express it enough at that time. So remember, you have everything you need in you. You are the person you need to be. You're perfect. Don't let the world mess you up. Keep being your best self. Do not completely become an emotion and have that carry on for weeks. Do what you need to do to move past something. Live in a place of love and laughter. Be your best self. Like I always say, you have everything you need. You're beautiful. I'll check in with you guys later. I've got a meeting I gotta go to, and then I'm gonna go to the gym. It's leg day. Time to get these puppies huge. Just because I'm running this ultra marathon in June, the first 50 miler, doesn't mean I'm not gonna be squatting heavy. You know, do everything you love. If you love to run, run. If you love to lift weights, lift weights. If you want to do it all, do it all. That's what I enjoy doing. I'll check in with you guys later. Please like, subscribe, let me know what I can do better. Leave some comments, any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Thank you again so much for your time. I'll check in with you guys later. Have a great day.